when we had just come to Jalandhar. So my daughter, she was under treatment at AIMS, and AIMS she had doctors of all departments almost. She was under their care. ENT specialist, eye specialist, neurosurgeon, neurophysician. Even besides that, she was all under these people's care. And it was such a serious case, it was one of its kind, and they were quite hands on in her case, and they wanted her to remain put over there in Delhi. And we had not gone back to our place of posting, Jalandhar, after the accident. We had been to Chandigarh. After Chandigarh, we came to Delhi in base hospital. At base hospital, she was supposed to get that operation. She was to get that done, and the army hospital didn't have the latest method. So they referred us to AIMS because AIMS had the latest. And even if it meant we were to spend in lakhs, we were ready for that as long as you have the latest method. So we had checked out on AIMS, and उनका latest method and successful rate भी बहुत अच्छा था. And AIMS only, in the whole of India, only AIMS had that latest method, which we wanted. It was more safe. So we went to AIMS. And they said not one time, but it can require many more times of doing that angiography, angioplasty. Angiography करके तो angioplasty they had to do, and the latest method of angioplasty was with AIMS. So we wanted to get that done because otherwise we were prepared to go out of India to US to get it done. Then my brother in US had told us to be, don't worry, because she was so weak. She was so weak that she could not have survived that journey of 24 hours. Us time lagte the 30 years back. It would take you almost 24 hours journey to US. So we had said, he sent us the literature of AIMS. At that time it was new in India, and 56 cases of its kind had been performed at AIMS by the doctor over there. And he gave us their success rate also, which was I think above 90% high for success rate. So we felt safe to go there. So we went to AIMS, and AIMS may we were there. So we have not come back to Jalandhar at all. Now she had gone into coma after the accident. Do you know it? And when she came out of the coma, 2-4 महीने जब वो coma में थी, and when she came out of the coma, then we found out memory loss she had. She had memory loss. So these things were some of the things that happened, besides the fact that she had palsy. Palsy होता है, face palsy, which is like, let's say, one part of the face में paralysis type, and all the 5 organs were having problem. Eyes movement, nose, mouth, in eating, in hearing, everything was a problem. So therefore, all the doctors, she could not eat herself. So we had to feed her. And she had lost a lot of blood from her nose, from her ears, from her mouth. She had lost blood. She was given blood also at the PGI. And then since she was in coma, she was given oxygen also, blood also. So that was after we came to first aid. And that time we thought she's just unconscious. Later found out that she was in coma. So they told us to rush to PGI, so we rushed to PGI. And PGI they give us oxygen on the way only. Lag gaya tha between going from Nilokheri, where the accident happened near Ambala. From Nilokheri near Ambala to PGI, वो oxygen का ही वो लेके चले थे first aid vehicle में, ambulance में, to PGI. So in PGI they did the other tests and all, and there all that they did was to just protect the body. What they could only do was protect the body. So in that case even her eyes were to be protected because palsy thi. And tests were being conducted 2 months, they could not find out, because upar se she was fine, not a scratch, not even a scratch. And very soon after the reaching at PGI is when her body, her face started swelling. It started swelling. So she was in that condition, and then they had done the test, they could not make out. And when they had just suggested to us MRI वगैरह, और उन दिनों में MRI, if you will check, चंडीगढ़ में MRI नहीं हो रहा, long time back. They could not do it. So they said you will have to go to Delhi, to the hospital. So we were, PGI के बाद हम command hospital in Chandigarh we stayed. So they didn't have all these facilities. So they said you could go to Delhi. So we had to come to Delhi. Basically MRI वगैरह. Then she was admitted. Then you discovered, before we left from Chandigarh, they found out about the damage inside. बाहर से कुछ नहीं था. Damage क्या था? It was on the forehead. There was this carotid है, which probably goes to the head, and that was damaged. And that's why the blood was oozing out, and internal, and so that had to be rectified. And for that we had to undergo some treatment, which was what word we used? Angioplasty. Angioplasty was the method. Angiography say they see the whole thing. So after that they do angioplasty. Now angioplasty in the army hospital was all old methods. AIMS में उनका latest था. So we wanted to do that. The ballooning method. Ballooning method में, which ruptured artery में, they insert some fine balloons which goes and rests on the broken part, and then it allows that broken part to get its own back to grow, so that is then grown back. So ये method था, which they said cannot happen in one time, it can happen many times, you will have to undergo it. Risk factor भी बहुत ज़्यादा high होता है. So however, now when she was in coma and when she came out from coma, we discovered she was having memory loss, and memory loss it took quite some time. So when she was coming out of the memory loss and we discovered कि थोड़ा सा उसका regain भी हो रहा है memory, so we wanted कि हम लोग जलंधर गए ही नहीं, एक दिन के लिए गए थे दिल्ली, and on our way back to Jalandhar we had met with the accident. So we were with just that one set of clothes, and now we wanted to go back because memory थोड़ी सी उसकी आई, and we thought कि if we go back to Jalandhar, then she will revive better as far as memory is concerned. So we wanted to go back. We requested the AIMS doctors to please let us go, and they were not allowing us. However, हमारे request से तो उन्होंने हमें 2-3 हफ्ते के लिए they allowed us, because she was on steroids. She had to have regular checkups, and regular checkups करके they could monitor the dosage of the steroids. So they said she can't be missing so much time. At our request, we took 2-3 weeks off, and medicines were enough for that period, and we were to come back. In that 2-3 weeks, we met Guruji. In that 2-3 weeks, we have met Guruji, because the moment we came to Jalandhar, and uncle started getting calls from people who we didn't know, whom we knew also, and saying, come to Guruji, everything will be all right. Till then we didn't even know of the word Guruji, and we didn't know कि so and so officer, believes in Guruji or nothing. But अब सब लोगों को पता चल गया कि we have met with the accident. The whole station came to know. All our relatives, all our friends have come to know. Because even in Chandigarh, when we went PGI, almost every single friend has come there to Chandigarh to look us up. Relatives, friends. So when we came to Jalandhar, everybody was telling us, come to Guruji, and they were coming to look us up. However, Deepak would come home, tell me, and we thought, ki now, what is this new angle like? We were so engrossed in our treatment and in just about trying to bring her back into normal life, which yet wasn't the case because she was so weak, and we could not even allow her to even go to school. So this accident happened in the first week of July, and she had studied in 8th standard only in the month of April. May say you have holidays. So 1 month she has done in 8th. Now in July, before she went to school, we met with the accident. We didn't let her go to the school. Basically, she was weak, and secondly, her face was almost like ugly. Ugly is a word, in very honest way to speak. People could not stand. They could not manage to see her because it was bloated in awkward places. And therefore we never sent her. Plus mentally she was weak, physically she was weak. So there was no point that we wanted her to go and study. She needed the full day looking after one medicine, then lot of nutrients. कितने बादाम मुट्ठी भर के बादाम खिलाए. Then I remember when we were in Delhi, आधा kilo minimum mausambi juice, to feed her every day, to sit and revive her. Anyways. And then we were also doing physiotherapy. Some of the physiotherapy we were doing at home ourselves, and some things we had to go to the physiotherapy center to go and do. Now even a mouth movement wasn't there. We had to feed her. Then we were given such type of exercises like to open up the mouth. Like even sucking was one of the exercises, suck. So then face, mouth movement, everything physiotherapy say we were doing. So I was taking her to the physiotherapy center in Jalandhar in the army ke वहाँ पे जो भी हाँ. Then she had to have a chewing gum to chew for the mouth movement. So all type of things which are coming to my mind. And now everybody in Jalandhar had come to meet us. Whether they came to Chandigarh, even now in Jalandhar people kept coming and meeting. Side by side, we were getting calls from people to come to Guruji. Now comes one of the days when my husband wasn't there. They were on op duty. They were not in Jalandhar, but a little away from Jalandhar. They were having, उन दिनों में पंजाब की भी शायद थी थोड़ी सी, so they were having op duties. And now I was just about to take her to the physiotherapy center in the morning. Don't remember the time, but it could be 9-10 something, and I had to go to the hospital. At that time I saw the car coming and somebody came to look us up, and that was Mrs. Jasbir. So I felt when she came, and she had already met us once or twice, and she had already mentioned come to Guruji. So Darsh, come to Guruji. And Colonel Jasbir had rung up my husband to say, why don't you come to Guruji, come. And even in Jasbir's house one day Guruji had come, and they also rung us up one day, and they also said, come and have dinner with us. Langar word they know won't go well with us, so they said, come and have dinner with us. Guruji is coming, so we said, oh God. They thought, because they knew कि हमें बहुत inhibition है, even मंदिर का रीति रिवाज नहीं पता हमें, तो what we अंदर से we don't believe, so they thought that was a good way to get started. But we didn't go. Anita's house we didn't go. Now came Jasbir auntie, she came to my house. So I thought she's come to look up Nikki, but side by side I do remember कि I felt a little कि ये बहुत बारी बोल चुके हैं गुरुजी के पास जाने के लिए. But how come she has come to my house today? Like in the morning, it was a weekday. And I just thought कि weekday में, like, why is she coming? She should have been in school. She was teaching. So she was, I thought that she should be in the school at this time. ये यहाँ पे कैसे आ गई? I said, चलो, today she has come to see Nikki. So I just asked, how come today early morning, like you have come, like shouldn't you have been in school today? So she said, no, Sudash, I have holiday today. Must have been some festival. कुछ होगा उस दिन. It was January 4th, by the way. It was. So she said कि भी today we have a chutti. And I said, okay. So I thought, फिर भी इतनी सुबह क्यों आई है? Like, she said, I was just thinking, I just wanted, because our chutti hai, so I was thinking I should just go to Guruji now in the morning. And I was just thinking that Guruji will say, subah subah aa gayi hai, tang karne. So she just said कि भी I was going to Guruji, and I thought in my mind, I said, my God, early morning she is going to Guruji, how crazy, I was thinking to myself. So she said, I thought कि चलो गुरुजी के मंदिर जाने से पहले I'll drop in at your place. So she sat, we had tea, and then of course she talked some of the other things about Guruji. And somehow I was very guilty कि they have been telling us कि भी गुरुजी के पास आओ, and we have still not gone. My husband is not there today. However, she said, come to Guruji, I'm going there. So which I thought, okay, she's going, so I could go with her. But then I thought कि Nikki को अच्छा नहीं लगेगा शायद. Nikki may not like it. So I went in and I थोड़ा सा मैंने मना लिया निक्की को. I said, निक्की आंटी बहुत बारी कह रहे हैं गुरुजी के पास आओ. तो I tried to just make her understand कि गुरुजी के पास आज हम लोग होके आ जाते हैं. Just she's been saying. Somehow I convinced her, and so she said, मेरी गाड़ी तो है ही, आप मेरे साथ चलो. However, my husband was commanding officer, so he had गाड़ीज in any case. There's no need. I said, okay. So I said, then we'll go in your गाड़ी. So I'll tell my chap to go back. She said, नहीं, he can come and take you. So I was wondering, I said कि भी जब उसकी गाड़ी है, तो even when we come back also उसी में आएंगे तो क्या करेंगे? तो she said, No, you ask for your gadi, because I'll be staying there the whole day. Oh God, I thought she's mad. पूरा दिन आप गुरुजी के पास ही बैठोगे, like, that was my impression at that time. So I said, okay. I thought they're crazy people going to Guruji. However, I told the bhaiya, I thought कि चलो बस जाना है with her and come back with her. अगर नहीं तो फिर ठीक है, my vehicle है तो I'll ask for it 1 or 2 hours बाद में आ जाएगी before lunch. तो I told the भैया, ऐसे भैया वो गाड़ी भिजवा देना before lunch. तो okay, so we went. And we went, and वहाँ पे I was so scared कि how I'm going to meet some saint, some guru, like how am I going to just initially only present myself to them. So then I was trying कि मैं फटाफट उसके पीछे पीछे जाऊँ, वो जो करेगी वही करूँ. I was just thinking. However, I missed the boat. So I was keeping my chappals out in Jalandhar Mandir. She had already gone in, she had already been to Guruji and darshan kar liya. And I was sort of little lost. Before this, I will say 2 things which she told me. 2 very, very important things which she told me. She said, have faith. When you're coming, he's a faith healer. She told me that he is a faith healer. So I was wondering, little bit up and down you think how to have faith without knowing anybody, and yet she says have faith, so okay, that has to be built up. So I was trying to think, okay, I'm going to somebody very saintly who can do things, and trying my own mind how to bring up the faith, and also directed Nikki on the same thing, to try and think like that and go there with a more positive way of receiving. So okay, second thing she told me was, आप Guruji को, you don't go and tell Guruji anything. You don't go and tell him till he calls you and asks you. So that much of reverence or respect she told us to have, that he will call you, then he gives you a chance, then you speak. Don't go and start speaking. Like that seems like having gone to buy a medicine. You go to a doctor, ye mere ko hai, and now you give me accordingly. Like, now I'm thinking while speaking. Probably sounds like that. Here you are going to a guru who knows everything. So just be patient. Let him reach out to you and ask you and whatever. So wait your turn. So that's exactly what she explained to me, 2 things. So I went, I just did namaskar to Guruji, and as she had told me, I went and sat. थोड़े से लोग बैठे थे, छोटा मंदिर है, थोड़े से लोग बैठे थे, तो I went and sat over there. So just trying to get in everything. But the moment I stepped in and I saw Guruji, that was just the most beautiful sight I have ever could not have imagined, even in my dreams, was the sight of Guruji sitting there. Some disciples were sitting near Guruji's feet, near his charan, and that Guruji ka aura was something you just can't describe. And it was something without me knowing it also, but it was a heavenly, godly charisma right in front. And that was something cannot be put in words. And that's what I saw. And I saw there were some people sitting near Guruji, and I noticed one of them was pressing Guruji's feet, And that person who was pressing Guruji's feet was Garibal's Masi. Garival auntie, Rimple, her Masi. I still recollect it. Others I don't now, no. But I remember the Masi very well. She was pressing. Anyways, I went and sat behind. And chai prasad mila. एक बारी दो बारी मिला. Then Guruji called me after some time, and the moment he called me, like I was just waiting, कि मेरे को बुलाएं और मैं बस blurt out all that was inside me, the way I blurted it out, ro ke. I just remember, ro ke, I just, Guruji ऐसा तो वैसा तो ये हो गया वो हो गया फिर हमारा एक्सीडेंट हो गया this that और the Guruji listened and then he just put his hand over Nikki's head and he said Kalyan ho gaya. He said that, and that sentence was so powerful and so encouraging and so much filled with hope. That sentence of Guruji, not knowing him, but in this world where in 6 months we have been in hospitals, in and out, our only life was hospital, medicines, doctors, nothing beyond that and nothing beyond that. To the extent even personal care wasn't there at all. So that was the situation in which Guruji's saying was so much, it gave me hope. It cannot be really described, that hope word which came up in us, and that gave me a lot of relief that day after 6 months. And this is a question I asked auntie. She said, come to Guruji, everything will be all right. And I am saying, I asked her the inevitable which was in my mind. I told her, I said, suppose we go to him and he doesn't do what we want, and then we can shut it down. I said, and I was scared to go to a saint or a guru as they called, faith healer she called him. My biggest thing was when Nikki was in the hospital, and my biggest thing was, when is she going to get all right, number one. More importantly, will she get fully all right or not? That was a big question mark. And no doctor was giving you so much hope. No doctor was giving you. That was the biggest thing in my mind. However, we were praying to the God day in and day out. But this nobody was answering. I do remember even this, I think it's a radiologist who does this this procedure. So it was a Dr. Mishra. उसे आप check करो. In AIMS, Dr. Mishra. So he is the one who had performed these angioplasties. So he had done it, and we had asked him कि success इसका भी, before we get this done, what do you say about it? He says, just you have to believe in the God. We were angry with this statement of his. We thought, you have to ensure us that you are going to do a job well, and you are saying believe in God. And similar question we had asked the commandant of PGI. I had asked him, please do something, get her well, get her back, you people are not doing anything. I was screaming my head off at the commandant, and he is also saying, believe in God, believe in God. And I felt like I could hammer him for speaking such stupid sentences. Ki you are a doctor, you got to do your duty, and you're sitting and talking about God. I said, I just could not take it. Here also in AIMS, I asked this guy and he says, believe in God. And I said, what is the success? And do you say, he says, will she be totally fine and all that after that? He says, who can predict? If I do the operation well or anybody does an operation well, and anybody can even, there are deaths that have happened, the operation is good, they're just crossing the road and they have died. He says, what can you say about it? I can never forget these things that the doctors have spoken to us. And I used to get mad at them and mad at them. However, so nobody was giving you total 100% hope, and the doctors we met are only talking about God. And now we go to Guruji and we got that hope. But before that, I'm asking her, ki if let's say there is somebody who does heal because of your faith, and let's say that he does not do it, then I asked her. So she says, ऐसा होता तो नहीं है, ऐसा कभी हुआ नहीं. आप गुरुजी के पास फेथ के साथ जाओगे तो ऐसा होता नहीं है. So just believe in him. And I have not seen anybody, गुरुजी किसी को मना किया, क्योंकि मुझे डर था कि कहीं गुरुजी कहते हैं ऐ नहीं हो सकता. I was thinking कि गुरुजी कह दे ऐ नहीं करना ठीक या नहीं हो सकता, तो then what am I going to do? So that if he says like that, I thought जो धागे से आपका लटका हुआ है होप, वो भी gone down the drain हो जाएगा. मेरे दिमाग में ये बात थी. So now therefore you can understand when Guruji said कल्याण हो गया. And that meant so much to us at that time. I had that hope now. कि हाँ, it's going to get all right. How, when, where, how much time it will take, I have no idea. Nobody has told me. But at least the hope was built up. And on the first day itself, like this made me happy. And somehow Nikki was so happy in being in front of Guruji that I can't tell you. She was so happy. And looking at her being happy, I was happy. And you believe me, in 6 months you believe me, it's the first time I have smiled, my daughter has smiled. हमने तो smile करना ही भूल गए थे. All the time medicines, how is she feeling, how is this, usko. Because even she had to be taken to the loo. In the first few months, she had to be even carried. She had no strength to walk. घसीट के चल रही थी. And no strength. She could bend her legs. So even Deepak had to lift her to take her to the toilet. So इस state में तो हम लोग थे. Anyhow, now that stage से थोड़ा better था. But we was मतलब smile करना, happy होना तो भूल ही गए थे. It was not in our thing at all. So that gave us a lot of hope and encouragement. Anyhow, so that was our first day. So then Guruji ने बिठाया, Guruji ने प्यार से देखा, चाय पिलाई, और पिलाओ. Then before we realized it, गाड़ी आ गई. So somebody is asking somebody, some Malhotra, somebody is asking. And I was trying to show as if मैंने सुना ही नहीं. You know, God, इतनी जल्दी गाड़ी आ गई. Oh God. And in fact I wanted him. I said 1 घंटा 2 घंटे में भैया लंच से पहले आ जाना. और अब ये कितना टाइम हो गया होगा, I have no idea, 1 o'clock हो गया होगा. And now I am thinking कि this guy, by God, इतनी जल्दी आने की क्या ज़रूरत है इसको? Honestly. And I was trying to be sheepish, and then somebody said loudly, Guruji saying, कौन? मल्होत्रा आंटी. तो वो बोल रहे हैं मल्होत्रा आंटी. तो Guruji saying, cow. Guruji is looking at me and saying, cow. I was wondering, cow? See your wife, cow. This is something new. He's saying, cow. See your wife. Then he explained it. Okay, so this word was very, very often used in the mandir. One of the things that Guruji used to use. So means your the wife the gaddi aa gayi. है तो anyways I was very unhappy. अब मैं सोचूं कि क्या करूं. वहाँ से मतलब उठने का आपको मन नहीं कर रहा बिफोर गुरुजी. उठने का मन नहीं कर रहा. And person like me, a person like me who cannot sit in the mandir for more than half an hour. मैं मंदिर जाती थी तो with my husband. I've never been alone. I will watch him what he's doing. वो घंटी बजाएंगे तो maybe I will ring the bell. Then he'll go forward. He'll kneel down, so I will kneel down. He'll put some money, so I will put the money, and then that's it. I really didn't know कि मंदिर जाना क्यों होता है, बैठना क्यों होता है. I have no idea. But anyway, that's the way I was. And now अब वो गड्डी आ गई तो मेरे को तो थोड़ी देर 10-15 मिनट तो ऐसे ही बैठे. तो फिर मैंने चुपके से I got up from there, went on the side, and I went and told the guy, I said, भैया तुम खाना खा के आ जाओ. I thought I'll buy that much time. So this chap was Reddy, his name was Reddy, and he was thinking कि भी मैडम को खाना नहीं खाना क्या, you know. So मैडम आपका लंच. ऐसे नहीं, हम लोग लंच कर लेंगे. Of course there's nothing in sight over there कि लंच कौन दे रहा है हमें. Nothing. I just told him ताकि भी जाओ तुम 2 घंटे निकालो वहाँ पे. And I didn't want him to wait क्योंकि then I would have to go early. So I said go and have your lunch and come. तो बैठे. फिर पता नहीं आ गया होएगा 1-2 बजे के बीच में आ गया होएगा लंच खा के अपने लंगर खा के आ गया होएगा. Again we are sitting with Guruji, and now the gaddi comes again, and again Malhotra aunty announced, oh God. Now I said, oh Baba, इसको जल्दी कितनी है, अभी खाना खा के भी इतनी जल्दी आ गया. Hey Ram, this chap. No, I didn't know now what to do. Again I'm shuffling, you know, how to avoid my going. So just didn't know what to do. How to, you know, sit over here more time. मतलब इतना अच्छा लग रहा था. इतना अच्छा लग रहा था, which I unique experience, and especially after 6 months तो और भी like, you know. So I just whispered to my friend who had brought me. I said, I'll go back with you, okay? जिसको मैंने पागल समझा था. Crazy is the word I labeled कि crazy people going to Guruji, crazy people going to Guruji, और उसको मैं कह रही हूँ I'll go with you, okay? Because अब इसको कितनी बारी बुलाऊँ मैं, right? तो I'm telling her I'll go with you. Oh, she said we'll go so late. I said when will you go? She said my husband will come from the office. Means वो evening में जाते होंगे ना अपने office. वहाँ से वो आएंगे. Then गुरुजी के पास बैठेंगे. He will have tea. गुरुजी चाय सबको देते थे. So he will have चाय प्रसाद, and then only we'll go home. I didn't bat my eyelids at all. I said, okay, I'll go with you. This is. So I sent off this guy, and I told him, I said, भैया वो कर्नल साहब की गाड़ी आएगी ना, मैं उनके साथ आ जाऊँगी. You don't come again. To make sure he doesn't come again, नहीं तो गुरुजी मेरे को भेज देंगे. And so that happened. And then I came back and sat down, and there Guruji is laughing. पहले आंदी नहीं सी, हुन जांदी नहीं. That was my first date. पहले आंदी नहीं सी, हुन जांदी नहीं. क्योंकि he's been calling me. And now I sat with Guruji. तो अब scene change. Like people, संगत is coming. गुरुजी 5-5 मिनट में भी भेज देते थे. Immediately भी भेज देते थे. आए, उसने मत्था टेका, चलो. थोड़ी देर कोई जना बैठा, चाय प्रसाद दिया, चलो. He is not making everybody sit like that. Very few people he is making them sit. And now Guruji says, चल आंटी फिर सुदर्शन आंटी ਨੂੰ ਜਾਣ ਦਾ दिल नहीं है, चलो फिर ऊपर बैठे। फिर नीचे बैठे थे ना पहले, तो जो जलंधर में ऊपर गुरुजी का टेरेस था और सर्दियाँ थी, जनवरी, ब्यूटीफुल ऊपर। हैव यू बीन ऊपर कभी? गए भी नहीं? ओ माय गॉड। अच्छा, इकट्ठे चलते हैं, चलो ठीक है, लेट्स प्लान। के गए ऊपर, चलो फिर। तो ऊपर बैठे हम लोग धूप में, चादर बिछा के ऊपर, मैट शैट बिठा के, तो ऊपर बैठे हम लोग। हाँ, ऊपर बैठे। एंड गुरुजी was giving me so much of love and so much of smiles on that day. And then गुरुजी said कि भी चलो आंटी दी आज फाइल खोल देती। गुरुजी said, हैं? I looked, I said, file? Which file? No idea in this world, like just what Guruji said and what was in my mind. So I remember that. I said, file? Like which file? But that's it. I mean, and Guruji ने तो बोल दिया, अब समझने वाले समझ जाओ जो समझना है. So then I interpreted, slowly I interpreted it later to be like now he's going to work on you. File khol diti means now you are open in front of me. Now you are open in front of me. So I'm going to look into this now. That means I've been taken care of by him now. Now he's going to work on me. As it came to me later. उस दिन तो सोच रहे हैं what file. Anyways. Then गुरुजी ने इतना प्यार दिया. हाँ, नीचे से ऊपर जाने से पहले ही चलो भी सुदर्शन आंटी नो फिर खिला फिर कोई समोसा एंड समबडी को भेजा जा समोसा लेके आओ. और एक चीज़ और मीठा था, मे बी इट वॉज अ गुलाब जामुन और समथिंग. तो लाओ फिर, क्योंकि उस टाइम पे लंगर का सिस्टम नहीं था. सो किसी को भेजा, चाय प्रसाद आई, फिर समोसे खिलाए, फिर एक मीठा खिलाया, ये सब खिलाया ऊपर बैठ के. एंड खिलाओ फिर सुदर्शन आंटी. तो वो भी बैठी थी, मासी भी थी साथ में ऊपर, गैरेवाल्स की मासी. अच्छा, उसके बाद में फिर चला फिर सुदर्शन आंटी, फिर मेरे को बुलाया ऊपर ही टेरेस पे बुलाया. गुरुजी खड़े हो गए, मेरे को बुलाया और फिर हाथ में हाथ लाइक दैट, आर्म इन आर्म ऐसे किया मेरे को. एंड देन ही स्टार्टेड वॉकिंग वो टेरेस पे. फिर सुदर्शन आंटी नू ये अच्छा लगता है, बर्फ़ी बड़ी पसंद है, हैं? फिर कहें गुरुजी तेनू शॉपिंग बड़ी पसंद है, हैं? शॉपिंग कर दी है. फिर जो आज तक लाइक माई पीपल आर फेड अप विथ मी. अलमीरा देख ली तुमने तो थोड़ी सी नज़र देखी है. ए राम, इररेसिस्टिबल फॉर मी. डिस्पोज करते हैं फिर और आ जाती है चीज़, फिर डिस्पोज करते हैं फिर और आ जाती है. एनीवेज, सो गुरुजी सेइंग ऑल दैट टू मी ऑन दैट डे कि तेनू मिठाई च केरा पसंद है, बर्फ़ी. अच्छा, फिर तेनू शॉपिंग बड़ी पसंद है. क्या क्या गुरुजी ने क्या क्या नहीं बोला मेरे को उस दिन. एंड आर्म में आर्म घूम रहे हैं, बाकी लोग बैठे हैं. गुरुजी मेरे को घुमाते जा रहे हैं, घुमाते जा रहे हैं, बोलते जा रहे हैं कुछ कुछ, एवरीथिंग अबाउट मी ही स्पीकिंग. फिर मम्मी दा की ना, फिर ओ ना, शांति. अच्छा, शांति या शांति? एवरीथिंग ही इज टॉकिंग एंड टॉकिंग एंड टॉकिंग, इतना टाइम। फिर बैठ गए हम, एंड देन निक्की को बुलाया, और फिर निक्की को फर्स्ट डे खूब चरण दबवाए, फर्स्ट डे इटसेल्फ। इतनी खुश निक्की, इतनी खुश कि मैं पता नहीं, अलग ही नूर, मतलब। और शी इज़ प्रेसिंग, और मेरे को तो बिल्कुल जाने का वहाँ से मन नहीं। आई मीन ऑल दिस बिकॉज आई हैव सफर्ड, एंड नाउ यू आर फाइंडिंग दैट लव एंड दैट एक्सेप्टेंस एंड द होप, इतना वहाँ पे दिखा। तो अभी मन वहाँ से उम्मीद के साथ साथ, मतलब कितना मन वहाँ पे अच्छा लग रहा था। So Nikki was so happy, and I'm looking at her. She's pressing Guruji's feet, and I'm so happy that she's happy. बैठे हैं। अंकल आ गए जसबीर, वो बैठे, उनको चाय प्रसाद दी। फिर गुरुजी ने कहा चलो फिर, कैंट वाले चलो फिर, अब जाने का टाइम हो गया। एंड you've got to believe me, you've got to believe me. She is the witness, and I hope she will remember it, because I'm not much with her now. They're somewhere else. अब टाइम हो गया, उन्होंने पैर छू लिए गुरुजी के, अंकल आंटी ने, and they're saying चलो, और मैं rooted. I'm not getting up. I'm just not getting up. वो जा रहे हैं, and then I tell her, I said, आंटी मैं आपके साथ नहीं आ रही हूँ, आप जाके ना just ring up at my residence and tell भैया to send me the गाड़ी by. Can you imagine it? And honestly, this is exactly, she was laughing, Guruji was laughing. जान दा मन नहीं करदा आंटी दा. And this is exactly the way it happened. She went away without me, and then she rang up, and then my गाड़ी came, and then I went. पता नहीं 8 क्या होगा, टाइम क्या होगा, no idea. And that is also with great reluctance still. कि शर्म जैसे you feel ashamed, चलो अब घर जाओ भाई.